We are now getting word that the next 9 months here in the United States are going to be painful. Now, I want to explain why in just a moment. But before I explain why, you need to understand one thing. In the next 9 months, we are going to have an election. We could potentially have a new president. We could potentially have a new majority in the House and also the Senate. All three things could change this coming year. Now, I'm going to break that down but explain why there is one crucial piece to all of this and how this is going to impact us moving forward. So, before I get to that, all I ask is one thing. It takes 2 seconds. Go ahead, hit that like button if you enjoy these daily updates. And now, let's begin. So first off, why would we be hearing that the next 9 months are going to be painful here in the United States? Well, it's actually pretty simple. It has to do with the U.S. southern border. Right now, what we are hearing is that President Biden, he does not have a lot of options. His back is pretty much against the wall, and Republicans know this. So Republicans are going to push him and push him and push him until they get what they want. This is why many Democrats are saying that Republicans are not actually, creating laws. They're not trying to govern. All they're trying to do is bully their way into the Oval Office and into the House and even the Senate. Well, here's what I can tell you. It's very clear what's been going on. These are migrant encounters. It says migrant encounters rise at southern U.S. border. It says number of migrant encounters at the U.S.-Mexico border by fiscal year. If we go back just to look at 2018, okay? So we are a little bit over 500,000 right there. You go to 2019, we're a little bit under 1 million, okay? 2019, keep in mind, 2019 or actually 2020 was the final year of the Trump administration, okay? That was also the COVID year. So we had a little bit under 500,000 there, but then come 2021, 2022, 2023, and then so far this year. Well, this is when President Biden came into office, right? The first thing he did is he said, we're not going to send people back to Mexico. We're going to adopt the catch and release, which they did. So it was about 1.5 million in 2021, 2022. We're under about 2.4 million. In 2023, probably about 2.48 million people. So far in 2024, right now, we're sitting at about 800,000. Okay, 800,000 people have entered into the United States between October and December of 2024, or this fiscal year. Well, here's the problem. According to reports, it is now turning into a massive crisis, and the U.S. border is actually at a tipping point. We are going to see things go one of two ways. These things can get better or they can get worse. The expectation is they will get worse before they get better. And here's the reason why. We have 9 months before the next election. Okay? That's as of today. We got 9 months, a little bit under 9 months. Here's the problem. Even after that election, we still have multiple months. If there's going to be a new president, let's say it's former President Donald Trump, guess what? He does not become president on November 6th, the day after the election. No, he would actually become president in January. So we'd have all of November, all of December, where it would be a lame duck session where right now the president could pretty much do whatever they want because they're going to be done come January. Well, this is why it's going to be painful because we now know, and other countries know this as well, if there is a chance former President Donald Trump does regain the presidency, guess what? He is going to lock down the U.S. southern border more than we've ever seen in our history. We are likely to see people get deported at a record number. These two things are going to happen. So what are people doing now? They're trying to flood into the United States. They're trying to get in, get a work permit, get a residency card, right? Get citizenship, whatever they can do. They're trying to do that now before it's too late. So experts say that this crisis is just getting started. But I want to read you this, okay? It's an opinion piece, but I want to read it to you. It said, crisis at the U.S. southern border isn't a security threat. It's a labor issue. Now, I want to run that by you because here's what's happening. The entire U.S. southern border is pretty much open except for the state of Texas. In the state of Texas, you come across, you will get apprehended. Over the past week or so, what we've learned is that there's about 3 people that are entering into the state of Texas every single day. And so that number obviously fluctuates, but if it's 3 people, we heard there was 9 people in a 3-day span. How crazy is that? Because before, we were seeing tens of thousands of people entering into the state of Texas. That's crazy. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Is it just a labor issue? Because if it is, we can just fund additional Border Patrol agents. We could just get the funding for that, line them all across the border, and we'd be perfectly fine. But it's going to cost money. Here's what Governor Greg Abbott of Texas is doing, though. Governor Greg Abbott, he's increasing razor wire at the Texas border. You know why? Because it's working. And I think what's interesting about this is he says it's working, but the federal government says you cannot put razor wire there because it's a danger to the community, right? So you can't do it. But I want to show you something else, okay? I want to show you something else because what we are seeing is that there's more and more razor wire being used all across the United States. Have you ever gone to a governor's mansion? Have you ever seen what they have there, right? Have you ever gone to the state capitol, right? Well, guess what? They use razor wire. Look at this, razor wire, right? That's what's protecting them, razor wire. But yet the federal government says we can't use razor wire. It's dangerous. And so it needs to be removed. But again, according to Greg Abbott, it's working. According to the Border Patrol, it's working. We're not seeing as many people come across the Texas border because they do have razor wire. They do have National Guard troops. They do have big cargo boxes that are blocking people from just coming across the Rio Grande. But guess what? Now they're discussing what if they put razor wire across the majority of the U.S.-Mexico border? What if they put, instead of building fences or big walls like former President Donald Trump wanted to do, what if they just put a big cargo boxes? Because there's plenty of them. We have a surplus of those, right? So we can get those. We can also build those and put them together. It doesn't take many months. It takes potentially an hour to do a couple hundred feet. You just go line the boxes. That's it. Then you throw the razor wire on top. Pretty simple. But again, when these boxes are 10 feet tall, most people aren't going to be able to jump it. And so that's the other thing. Could that be a possibility? And the answer is yes. So here's the thing. California is not going to do this. Arizona is not going to do this. New Mexico is not going to do this. This would require the United States government to come out and force them to do something like this, which they will not do. This is the reason why experts believe the next 9 months are going to be painful. Not for the state of Texas. Texas is going to do just fine. But for the states of California and Arizona. Those are the 2 states that are seeing the majority of illegal immigrants enter into their state right now. The problem is, this number is only going to increase as weather gets better. So, think about that and just understand, it's going to be now or never. People understand that are in other countries, if they don't enter into the United States this year, before this next election, they may never have a chance. Because if former President Donald Trump wins, he will lock down the U.S. southern border like we've never seen before. So, that's what we know at this time. As always, as I know more, I promise, I'll come back on and share all latest news and updates. But that is what we know as of today. So again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.